You guys are so crooked. Y'all look like y'all still enjoying y'all 4th of July weekend, child. Straighten up, girl. Don't let them know you're drunk. Don't be tilting. There we go. That's a little better. But anywho, so anyway, what you say? Yo, like what?
These are dream rules. This is someone else. I'm not myself. No.
Hi, happy hump day. Today is Wednesday, July 3rd. We are out and about. Oh, they must be gearing up for a Royals game. All right, boys in blue, cheering you on from here because, I don't do baseball games in the rain. I've gone to a few. I haven't been to a baseball game in years, actually, but if I were going, I sure wouldn't go in the rain, which is crazy because I go to, I just don't like baseball as much as football. That's what it is. Because I sure will go to a Chiefs game in the ice cold, and with snow drizzling. Like, yeah, so I just don't like baseball as much. But go Royals anyway. So, and we're doing good right now. I mean, I follow it a little bit. I follow my city in general, so I know that we're doing pretty well right now. We're still in the lineup for playoffs. Not that any of you are interested in that, so why am I going on and on? I sure don't know. But I'm on my way to a place called Knuckleheads to go and listen to a live band. This is like a first date-ish, but without all the bells and whistles, I would say. It's just, I don't know. It's an interesting first date, I will say, because, like I said, we're on our way to our first date, but I don't know if he's jokingly saying it or what, but he kind of gives me love bomb vibes in the sense that he's always saying, oh, you're wife material. How do you know that yet? You don't know that yet. I am, but he doesn't know that. But anyway, he gives me love bomb vibes in the sense that I said the future wifey part, or you're giving me wifey vibes. And he's even said, oh, I feel like I'm talking to my future and little things like that. I'm like, dude, fall back. Because even if you're kidding, it's a little soon. It's a little soon for the kid. But anyway, so we're on our way to Knuckleheads to listen to a live band, and I'm struggling even saying that I'm going on a first date, even though it's the first time this guy and I are going somewhere for it, because going to listen to a live band in an outdoor venue and now it's sprinkling. Now granted, the forecast did not call for rain at the time that he got the tickets, but just kind of an outdoor venue type of thing is not really first date material to me, because how are we really going to have a conversation? I guess we could talk in between the bands playing or things like that, but in my mind, when you go on a first date, it's a get to know you kind of thing more. And even as I was getting ready to get dressed for the day,
2 miles, take exit 3C onto Prospect Avenue.
As I was getting ready to get ready for the date, for me, when I go on a date, especially a first one, I kind of like to dress flirty and cute, or wear a dress, which I had on a dress earlier. So I went from that to, well, it is outdoor. It's a casual atmosphere. Should I just wear shorts? Didn't feel good about that. Like, maybe if it was a short suit or a short set, I would feel better about that. But I don't know. I just have different ideas of a first date. That being said, though, I applaud his effort. I mean, he listened to me when I said that I like live music, so that's a plus. But I'm also not a person who really enjoys doing a whole lot of stuff outdoors and in big crowds. Like, those are two things that I make exceptions when I go to Universal Studios or, amusement parks in general, but just outdoor concerts and big crowds,
Take exit 3C onto Prospect Avenue.
not really my vibe. But I'm gonna go ahead and make an exception because he's at least putting forth a little bit of effort. I think the two things that are important.
Take the exit. Then turn right onto Prospect Avenue.
Got it. Anywho,
At the light, turn right onto Prospect Avenue.
girl, you about rude. But I've never been in this place before, so I don't want to turn it off. Could have just looked at the cross streets, but sometimes I start talking to y'all, and next thing I know, dang, I missed my turn. So let me just keep that GPS on. I'll let you do your talking, girl. I'll be quiet in between. Anywho,
In 3/4 of a mile, turn right onto Independence Avenue.
That's funny. Okay. Let me try to get it in. Like I was saying, I think the two things that are important with regard to a guy meeting you, or you even just kind of vetting a guy in the beginning phases even, or stages of getting to know him, is consistency, which is really hard to fake. I mean, either you're consistent or you're not, and effort. And a lot of times I feel like guys really just don't put forth effort at all. You know, it's dinner and maybe a movie, or dinner and whatever. Now granted, for a
Go
first
past this light, then at the next one, turn right.
for a first date, I do think a setting like dinner is a good one, because it allows you the ability to talk. You know, in this guy's defense, we've talked on the phone some. I don't even stay on the phone very long, because I kind of like to look you dead in your face and see.
At the light, turn right onto Independence Avenue. Then turn left onto Chestnut traffic.
I want to see you as you're talking. I want to see how you're responding and moving, and that helps me to also discern a little bit more so if whether or not you're being forthcoming with me. Sometimes it's not even about lying, it's just about, is he telling me all the truth that he could tell? But anywho, yeah, I think it's important to be able to have that chance to talk. But as we're talking on the phone, I don't do a whole lengthy conversation day after day, and this guy seems like he is quite loquacious, which is not the most appealing thing to me. Like, I don't know, I'm just not. Well, let me not. See, I had already said I was gonna go. He'd already purchased the ticket. Otherwise, I was really thinking about canceling. But he's talking about all the people he knows, and that name dropping is unappealing. Or maybe even I can admit that it could be a huge part of it is I'm just not really used to being back in this dating scene.
At the next stop sign, turn right.
So getting to know anyone at first, I'm probably overly examining for flaws and stuff, and maybe he finds them in me. Maybe I'm not talking enough.
At the stop sign, turn right.
What stop sign? This ain't no stop sign.
Then turn left.
What is you talking about? Oh, this one. Just need to go a little further, that's all. This is no exaggeration. He was comfortable with carrying about 80% of the conversation, and he talked about himself a lot. Now I'm sitting here saying I want to get to know you, but I hear me. I don't know. Not the train done stopped on the tracks. Anywho, I guess I just need to stop being overly whatever that is, and then and let it go with the flow. Even though I'm not the most go with the flow kind of girl, I'm gonna work on it. I don't know how much of the experience I'll be able to film. You know, I am going to listen to a live band, but I don't know how much I'll be able to film, because he knows nothing about me starting this YouTube channel. And, you know, I ain't the one to be telling him. Sure ain't gonna be including him. So I guess we'll catch up when I leave, if I ever get there in the first place, because is y'all ever gonna move the train? I like the nerve of this. Like, they are literally sitting there like ain't nothing going on here. Dude is just talking it up with, I don't even see who he's talking to. But do y'all not have a sense that we might be blocking a little bit of traffic? Oh, whoa, is he talking to another train I'm finna wait for? Yeah, that's gonna be one of the places I back into. Not that I'm saying anything necessarily gonna jump off, but I ain't familiar with this part of town. We in the bottoms. Let's take down the camera. I'm holding the camera a little bit lower, so forgive me if it's a little bit shaky. But anyway, just to kind of explain a little bit more of why I was ready to cancel the day, because I feel bad sounding like I'm just picky for no reason. But another thing was, I said, hey, after you told me where we were, well, actually, I'm lying. When he was just coming up with date ideas, I was like, okay, that sounds fine. I'll meet you there. Because at first he actually did say, let's go out to dinner. I know a nice restaurant on the plaza. And I was like, cool, I'll meet you there. And he said, oh, no, I'm a gentleman. I'd much rather pick you up. And I said, that's fine, but you're a gentleman I don't know. So I'll meet you there. Days go by. We've talked a little bit here and there. Like I said, I don't do a whole lot of talking on the phone. I want to see your face as we're talking. So fast forward to today, and he texts me his address. So I text back, oh, okay, but no thank you. Like I said, I'm going to drive myself. That's what I'm comfortable with. So I don't like it when someone makes me tell them no repeatedly, but that's what I'm going to do. If I tell you no, it's still a no. You're not simply changing my mind because you want me to. I'm not going to change my mind because you want me to. Like, that's just not what I do. So a no's a no, baby. Take it. They say men don't like rejection, but why are you making me reject you repeatedly? Okay, I just saw him pull up, so I got to put my camera away, and we'll talk some more. Hello. Today is Thursday, July 4th. To all the Americans, happy Independence Day if you celebrate it. I don't really celebrate the 4th like that. I definitely don't buy fireworks. I did all of that when my daughter was little, and I did a little more when I was younger. I even had a firecracker pop in my hand, and when I tell you my finger and thumb were numb for like the next year, I'm not even exaggerating. Did that turn me off? No, I'm not even that smart. I still pop fireworks. I just paid more attention to when I lit them and threw them and all that dumb junk. Quite the tomboy back in my day, but those days are somewhat behind me. Pretty behind me. I still like to do active stuff if and when I can. We're on our way to this barbecue. Don't really know what to expect. And then another thing that I think as I'm re-entering these dating streets that I find interesting is I've done a video before about the 4 things that I require, but along with that, I would also say that I need to see consistency from a guy. So far he's got that. And I need to see effort, but I also have to have my own feels, because I feel like consistency and effort are just hard to fake. They just are. They can be fake, but only yay so long. But anyway, getting back to those 2 things that I was talking about, consistency and effort, that doesn't even require a lot. Like, if you're someone who's willing to date a broke guy, I don't even feel like money is an excuse, because for like about 20 bucks, y'all can have a good experience. And if you can't come up with 20 bucks, what are y'all doing? But like, for example, $10 could go toward a glass of wine. It's hot right now, but you could spend another $5 or so on a little bowl of fruit, another $3 to grab a croissant and a donut. What am I up to? 18 bucks, I think, so far. Yeah, that's a little fruit donut. Y'all can have a breakfast meeting on the lawn. Probably got orange juice in your refrigerator, but if not, you might have to spend a couple of dollars on some little juice and make mimosas or whatever, and literally make a picnic outside on the lawn. Later, after the picnic, you all could go to farmers market, tour a museum. Like, we have a nice museum or 2 here. They're free. Farmers market is also free, but that would require a little bit of planning and effort on his part. Now, I don't know about that being a first date and all that, but you know, that was just an idea for, like I said, if you're broke. But let's turn this around and y'all can see what I see. Looks like I'm getting much closer, so I might be able to pull out my camera again for the fireworks display. Oh, okay, I see you. His deck was awesome. Like, it gave you a really good view. We could look around. They were popping fireworks at the high school. There were some off in the distance that they were doing. I was trying to film it, but I don't think I got to cover it well. But the one thing I really liked is their subdivision subdivision. That's still kind of funny to me because when I was growing up, we had neighborhoods. And if you ask me, the difference between a subdivision and a neighborhood is typically in a neighborhood, you guys get to know each other better. You know, it's friendlier atmosphere and all the things. But in this particular subdivision, I like the way they do it. They're well organized. They, as a subdivision, pool their money together. If you want to do your own fireworks, that's cool too. But for the most part, the neighbors put their fireworks together, and there's a guy who sells fireworks who lives in their subdivision. So of course he's buying the best of the best. I'm looking at my glasses, they keep sliding. I love these little glasses. These Sojos, I think that's how it's pronounced. SOJOS. I got them in pink. They kind of match my outfit. I don't know if you all see all the different colors in my outfit, but these are cute. I love them. But anywho, they're the ones that most people get as a Bottega sunglass dupe. Yeah, these are they, but I got mine in what's called pink. I also got the regular brown, but you know, I want to be extra, so here I am wearing my extra pair. But anywho, they all put their money together. The guy who owns a firework sales stand does the popping of all the fireworks, and they just put on a show. The neighbors literally gather their lawn chairs. Some were on this guy's lawn as well. He could not have cared less. But everyone just kind of lays out. What I also like is all the children get these, what do you call those things? You used to get them at the circus. Glow sticks, that's what they are. But they wear them as necklaces and bracelets and all that because, of course, it's dark at night when they're doing the fireworks and they don't want to lose the kids. So the kids have the glow sticks as well as some sparklers and little kitty type things that entertain them. And the adults are on lawn chairs drinking adult beverages, I must say, and enjoying the fireworks display without having to do the back and forth of lighting them up and da-da-da-da. So it's a really cool setup. But anywho, we are off and running off to that. Oh my gosh. And it was interesting. I ain't gonna necessarily say the guy that I went there with, but we're gonna say a guy. That's what we're gonna say. A guy was there, and as he was eating the ribs and all that, and it had a nice little plethora of food too. It was ribs and why am I telling y'all this? Y'all don't care. Y'all had y'all's own barbecue if you went to one. But I ain't gonna, like I said, I ain't gonna say it was the guy that I went with, but a guy there was eating and trying to have a conversation with me, and I was like, dude, you gotta pick one or the other. Because we're not going to... So anyway, what you say, like what? You think I'm getting ready to have this conversation with you and not be distracted by all of that? Like it's... I don't know. It's... I don't even know why I got started. I guess because it was on my mind. It was on my mind. It looked a whole mess to me, but whatevs. I think when you go on a date, because I've been talking about some of the things I don't like, some of my pet peeves. I hadn't even thought of that because you just kind of think, oh, we all grown folks here. We know how to conduct ourselves. We certainly know how to eat. But I tell you, something about bone-in chicken, crab legs, and things like that will tell you if a man knows how to eat a doggone meal or not. One of the things that was interesting while we were there, too, was... we were playing spades and dominoes and all the things y'all people like to do. We were doing it, and it was kind of fun. And we were just having conversations. And what I like is, to me, I think in general there seems to be this whole gender war type of thing going on. And we didn't have gender war conversation, but we did have conversation of misunderstandings, or even, I would say, seeking to understandings. Like we were seeking to understand, I wonder why it is, or why is it that many men tend to, or many women tend to. And I kind of like that. We were just all talking in a group, and like I said, gaining understanding. Things like that are just fun to me. But we were also talking about chivalry. Several of the women, like myself, were single. One single because she was widowed. Another couple had never been married, I think. and still another one or two have been divorced. But we were just talking in general about what dating looks like now as opposed to what it looked like once upon a time, and how different things have become. And I don't know exactly why. I think a lot of times, I mean, we've heard of it all. A lot of us are giving wife privileges to just boyfriends and then wanting them to marry us. Our grandparents used to call it buying the cow versus getting the milk for free and all of that stuff. But I don't know that explains it all. I think also that there have been a lot of shifts in mindsets of men. I think a lot of men have forgone their masculine ways to become, I don't even want to say more feminine, but I'm lacking the vocabulary at this second to come up with another term. And maybe I'm lacking it because that is the term. I don't know, but I just see a lot of back and forth with men, a lot of arguing, and I expressed this there as well. I was like, I see a lot of men being more argumentative than was once the case. Whereas before, we could depend on men to kind of settle things. Now, men are keeping it going or even creating messiness. And it's as if they've listened to other people. What was also interesting was that we had a white woman in the mix, and she sat there looking absolutely perplexed. And as I'm looking at her and looking at all of us, it dawned on me, I don't think that is as broad as perhaps many of us have been thinking it is. I think it is pretty specific to the black culture. I mean, I don't know. I haven't been in a whole lot of circles. You all can tell me if this is true or not, but I don't know necessarily that other cultures are debating whether or not a man is supposed to provide. I think that is something unique to our culture. And I get it. Many black women have the education and therefore the means that a lot of black men don't have, although I just don't know why. Because I know as a teacher, I'm sitting here teaching boys just as hard, just as well, just as diligently as I am teaching girls. So I don't know what's happening there. I know that sometimes my boys can be more resistant. I know that I've talked to parents, and some of my parents have said things like, well, you know, boys will be boys. No, I don't know that. I just know students will be students, and I don't particularly care the gender of the student. I'm going to need him to sit down and get this learning just like I need her to sit down and get this learning. So I don't know if that's part of the issue. Like, I genuinely just don't know the issue. But I do know that watching her face and her reaction and her say she's just not familiar with a whole lot of what we're saying was very interesting to me, if not alarming. It was, let me call a thing a thing. It was more so alarming than interesting, but it was also eye-opening. I gotta say that it was eye-opening and alarming. One of the things too that the guys mentioned was this idea that women don't want to date men without money. And I interjected again. I was like, I don't know that that's completely true. I think women of a particular age don't want to date men of a particular age without money because we're wondering, what has you been doing? And a lot of times, even according by their own admittance, a lot of the times the men spent their 20s, 30s, some even their 40s, tricking money off and, you know, I'm a baller, I'm a player, and dating 50, 11 women. That is costly. That costs money to date all those different women and do all those different things. And so a lot of them spent their money tricking, even if they got their money by ill-gotten means. I mean, we had a variety of men here. I'm not going to play like we didn't. So even if they got their money by ill-gotten means and they thought, you know, money just grew on trees at that time and they spent it, now they're kind of brokish and they're sitting back like, I just ain't got it no more. So I was kind of like, so let me get this straight. Now that you've gotten to be a particular age and you can't pull those young girls and all that stuff like you used to, you expect that we women of a particular age are supposed to now foot the bill for all that tricking you did? You was tricking, I wasn't. Like, I I'm not doing that, buddy. I can't make that make sense. No. So yeah, I do still expect a fair amount of chivalry. I do still expect a fair amount of provision. And even though more women have gone to school than have men, I don't make that excuse, because a lot of people earn a lot of money who haven't gone to school. Because let's face it, college isn't necessarily for everyone. But maintaining a life is. You knew you was going to have to maintain your life. Whatever lifestyle you've gotten yourself accustomed to, you knew you was going to have to maintain that when you was doing whatever. So, I mean, did I necessarily want to go to school? Heck no. If you've watched me for a little while, I've already shared I am a serious and classic underachiever. I have never been that student who thought, oh my gosh, I can't wait to go to school. I can't wait to study. I want to stay up. I want to, cram for tests. I've never been the person that said that. Classic underachiever. Have I made Dean's List and all of that other stuff? Yeah, I have, but not so much because I thought it was a great big deal to do it. More so because, that was something my mother wanted me to do. I wish you were on the Dean's List. Oh, you want the Dean's List? That's easy enough. I went ahead and did stuff like that. And I'm not even bragging. I'm more so saying it was never something for me. It was just something I gifted or did for my mother, because my mother hadn't gone on to college. And, I allowed her to live vicariously through me. But for me, no, it wasn't that big a deal. And if I hadn't done that, then I would have been plotting and planning for a different way to come up with my money. I mean, if it's not going to be school, it's going to be something else. It just so happens, and let this be a clue, lesson, or something for anyone younger who's watching. One of the better ways, I know a lot of people aren't going to college. A lot of people are making it without it. But one of the better ways to uplift yourself from whatever your current situation is through education. And we in America are very fortunate that our education is pretty much free. You know what I mean? It's regardless of your ability, regardless of your grades, regardless of all those things, through 12th grade, education is public and it is free. You hear about the comparison, and I think too, sometimes people think because a thing is free, it's not that valuable. That's a lie. That's a lie from the pits. But no, education is a valuable tool. Use it. Take advantage of it in all the things. But you hear of how, American students are not as bright. And I think what a lot of people don't know is American students are not filtered. Like I said, it doesn't matter what your grades are, what your success is or is not. You get to go to school free. There are other countries who do not allow that. If you're not among the top tier, you don't go to school. You work in the rice fields or you do whatever manual labor there is. And it just keeps filtering out until all that they're left with is the top of the top students. So a lot of times when you hear comparisons with regard to American students versus the education to other people, you don't realize they are actually comparing oranges and apples. But that's a whole nother, I don't even know how I got off on that tangent. I just feel like sometimes people downplay the value of education, because I darn sure wouldn't want a doctor who hasn't gone through some education. I darn sure wouldn't want a whole lot of other things. Let me stop, because I feel myself getting up on the soapbox, and child, this ain't that. But that is one of the better ways to elevate yourself. Does your learning have to just come from that? No. A lot of times you can go to YouTube University, you can Google information, you can research it at your local library. There are lots of things you can learn. I know several people who have done very well through real estate. Ain't step one foot. I know one guy actually didn't graduate high school. He picked up a GED, and that was just to appease his parents. But yeah, he's making, hey, what the heck? The road's a block. He's making way more money than I've ever seen. So yeah, it different strokes for different folks. Let's just say that. Anyway, I feel myself going off on a tangent, and I don't need to do all of that. But we will pick up this conversation one way or another. We'll talk soon.